What's up, bro? You hear me?
Hey,
All
bro, I
right.
can hear you. Hold on. Wait a second. Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your audio's good. You can
Okay,
hear
I
me?
can hear you now.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I didn't. Good. Hey, doing good
Thank
though,
you.
man. Doing good. Another the dollar, just really wrapping things up. So I'm chilling for a minute. I got a minute. What's good with you though, bro? How's everything?
It's a little tired, middle of training camp, but you know how it goes, man. Just gotta keep grinding,
You know,
keep moving
we gonna get
forward.
you. We gonna get you that opportunity though, man. Because the way things shifting now, like it feels like a lot more. People trying to come up are finally gonna get their chance. So I feel like one
Yeah,
day it's gonna be yours, no doubt.
yeah. I'm just trying to build to that point and be ready. That's it. Is be ready for my moment when it calls. Give me 2 seconds. Let me turn this TV off.
Oh yeah, do your thing. Do your thing.
That thing started talking to me. I didn't even realize what was going on. All right.
Man, I gotta tell you though, this past weekend, man, I really I funny enough, I think you got an intro, right? Or I think I did.
Yeah, I was about to get into the intro, but yeah.
There you go.
Uh,
Yeah.
Fight fans, it was a great week of fights. We're breaking down every matchup, giving you the results and raw reactions. We're gonna get straight into it. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Ring Rant. I'm Mikhail Deadshot Bowie, joined by my guy Jay Smooth from the Rush Hour Fight Club. If you're new here, make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to tune in to the live watch along with Jay at Rush Hour Fight Club on those fight nights. He will be calling an action, scoring every round, chopping it up with you in real time. You don't want to miss it. He will give you live and unfiltered real-time reactions. All right, let's dive into the first matchup. Um Obviously we'll start at the top of the card and then work our way down. So
Mm.
Edgar Berlanga, man. Let's talk about it.
Wow, man, I tell you what, this not only was a fight that I felt like you, me, and I feel like people that actually knew the matchup figure would happen, but the way it happened though was crazy, absolutely crazy, and it was devastating for Belanga, but it was star building for Shiraz. That type
Yeah.
of performance is what I've grown accustomed to with Shiraz. I usually he's a guy that'll wait. He'll wait to attack. Like he'll attack, but he'll wait because he knows the opening is going to be there. The thing that really disappointed me about Edgar Berlanga is that he has learned nothing from the Canelo fight. That is the main thing to take away from this. He has learned nothing from it. Like he claimed he learned he was going to be a whole new man after that. Nothing different. The head still in the center line, never moved. Guard way too open. More of a brawling style, but what's funny, well, more of a brawler's like type of approach. But what's funny about that is he didn't even throw. He
Exactly.
acted like, yeah, like he kind of mean, like he acted like he was going to stand there and throw back Shiraz, but something about it, man, made him not want to do it. Almost like a flashback to the Canelo fight. Remember when Canelo hit him hard, dropped him, all of a sudden Berlanga was in talk mode, but when it came time to really engage, he didn't do a whole lot of that the rest of the fight.
And that's the crazy part is I thought that in the Canelo fight that getting knocked down kind of woke him up and made him realize like, okay, look, I gotta stop being starstruck. I gotta stop sitting here waiting, and I gotta kind of go fight. And when he did that, he kind of earned Canelo's respect. That hey, this is a big kid in front of me that's gonna hurt me if I slip up and do something dumb. So he made Canelo just a little bit more cautious, which bought him enough to finish the 12 rounds. I feel like I don't think he did anything spectacular, but he just at least I know as a fighter I always tell my kids this: there's two fights going on. You have the fight, and then you have the boxing match. The boxing match is what's being judged and scored, but there's a fight that's going on inside the ring that's just between you and that other man, and it comes down to you have to get your respect. If not, a guy's gonna walk all over you and hurt you. So I feel like he was able to do that. Um, I don't understand
That's
why he didn't do that with Hamza.
Yeah, I was about to say like you've been in there before. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
Do you like do you feel like as that performance, do you feel like he regressed, or was that just the same old Berlanga and Shiraz was more aggressive? Did that performance speak more about Shiraz or Berlanga? That's like the real question. Did it speak more about Shiraz or Berlanga, or both?
Um, I think it's one of those situations where two things can be true at the same time. I think
Okay.
that did Berlanga regress? I don't know. I can't say that. I think that
How so?
mentality wise, think it's two different mentalities going into two different fights. So the Canelo fight, he's supposed to lose. That's kind of
Right.
a freeing. That kind of frees your mentality because you're like, uh, I can just go. All I got to do is kind of go in here, show up, fight, don't get knocked out, and I did pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to
Right.
lose. This is Canelo. You know what I mean? So that's kind of freeing in a way. In
Right.
this fight, you're hyping, you're selling the fight. You're the king of New York. You're trying to get into his mental, but I think it really just showed gaps and weaknesses in not only Berlanga's mentality, because I don't think he has full faith in his abilities for real, but also his camp.
Dude, yeah, I saw that
I
too.
don't think that. I think honestly that the kid has the physical talents. Um,
He
he's a
does.
tough kid. He's a fighter.
He can moxie. He can also market himself. He could be the villain. He doesn't care about being the bad guy. He knows how to get attention, and he knows how to back it up in the ring. But it's crazy to see like the difference between the guy that beat up Patrick McCrory, knocked him out, that knocked out the guy that came out of prison after the Canelo fight. It's crazy to see like Edgar go from that confident guy to getting a knockout, looking like a brawler, move forward, to a guy that seemed like he was just shell shocked by the power of Shiraz and then shut down from there.
Well, I
I
think
think he was
also
surprised.
too. I think he was also surprised at Shiraz's size. Uh,
Yeah, that's another. And
Size and length. I
we
don't
like
think
to
he's
say
ever
that.
been in there in a super because super middleweight they chose for a reason. Like he could easily go to light heavyweight weight wise.
I have a
But
question.
light heavyweight,
Shiraz,
everybody would kind of be around his size. At super middleweight, he's always the bigger guy. Always the bigger guy. Well, to that day, he wasn't the bigger guy. And from my eyes looking at the ring, it looked like that kind of confused him a little bit. Okay, I can't really stand on the outside and slowly figure it out. I'm not a dancer and a mover. I kind of got to get inside to get busy. But when you get in there, you can't stand there and figure it out. You got to go in there with a plan and know what you're gonna do. You need to either be punching or you need to be pushing, grabbing, kind of dirtying it up, moving him around. Then I mean, like there just appeared to be no game plan being given him. I couldn't honestly tell you what they told him in the corner, like even leading up to
I
the fourth round. Like, what did we hear in the corner?
that's the thing I wondered too, because I think even some people had some questions about that because there were no adjustments made. It was almost like because all right, you know what's funny? So funny that when Berlanga said when he got knocked down in the Canelo fight, he said he looked at his corner, nodded, and said, "Okay, we're in fight." Nothing about instruction. That tells me that I think Berlanga has people that just kind of manage and make sure that yes,
I think they're taking advantage of the situation, and the getting's been good though. The getting's been good. You got a Canelo fight. You knocked out a whole bunch of people. You've made a lot of money. Um,
right.
you're
You've
iced
worked
out. You know,
right.
you were, but
You got
unfortunately, you're kind of showing that you were a little bit of a hype job. I don't want to call it because his career is not over with, and anything is possible. But if he remains, to my opinion, if he remains with the same team, if it's going to be the same thing. They're going to look because all they're going to look for is ways to make some more money.
that's true. And like you said, it seems as if whoever's in his corner, they're definitely not there to really give him advice and give him plans. They are there to make sure he doesn't gas out, so they can at least collect on some sort of, or collect on at least the check for showing up. You know what I mean? And I have a question to ask you. Is it me or did Hamza Shiraz look way more healthy at 168? Because at 160, the one thing I was always concerned about is that I'm like he's pretty tall for the weight class, and you know it's weird because he did talk about how tough the cuts were and everything, like the weight cuts were. And I always, and it's funny, in the back of my mind, I always said Hamza Shiraz versus Janibek is like an amazing fight at 60. But seeing Hamza Shiraz now at 68, is it me or did he look more powerful or did he just look like a different fighter who was just able to have the benefit of not cutting as much weight?
It's twofold. Definitely came out stronger.
Right.
We still haven't seen him get touched at 68, and I thought that would be the difference in the fight. I thought that Berlanga would be able to land a punch and just from what I've seen in the Adamas fight, like the Adamas fight was the first true test for me with Shiraz, and when he got touched, he ran. He didn't sit down and like, and that was the difference when when Berlanga got touched with Canelo, he sat down and said, "Okay, I got to fight this guy, and I got to make him respect me so that he doesn't hit me again." When Shiraz got touched by Adamas, he said, "I got to get the fuck out of here and figure this out." And so that's what I thought would kind of carry Berlanga through, that he would be able to come out early, come out on fire. Wow, because Shiraz was kind of a slower starter too. But I want to give a lot of credit to Andy Lee. I'm going to give a
Right.
lot of credit to Andy Lee. Andy Lee is a great trainer, and I think that was the a big difference in this fight was the corners. You've got
Because like right. Because
you've
what
got
what I
Yesman
noticed
over here, and over here you've got Andy Lee who put together a masterful game plan. Because I'm not gonna lie, Hamza started a lot faster
he
than
did.
I think he would have naturally started had that not been game planned and kind of put in his brain.
I agree. It definitely looked like he was a more prepared fighter. He was calculated. He moved forward when it benefited him. He landed shots when it benefited him. And like you said, way more of a fighter with a plan instead of a guy going in there and swinging home for the best. And it was phenomenal to see, honestly. And in terms of what next here, I mean, the only thing I have to say is I know Turkey's very excited and wants to make the fight at 168 for Hamza. I don't know if I'd make that next necessary. Maybe one more before, but I don't know if I'd do that next
I
because
mean,
it's
who is
crazy. Because
who is
okay,
there for him to fight for real at 168?
the only other fight that would make sense for Canelo because they're both kind of at the end of the stage anyway, and it would be a big fight in the UK. And Canelo's always wanted to do one in the UK. Is Chris Eubank, and I've
Yeah,
already heard that fight because apparently I don't know if it's true or not. It's just hearsay that the fight with Ben may not happen because that Chris Eubank is going to pursue more so the Canelo negotiations because he doesn't want to deal with the weight again with Ben, which is
I don't think
partially
Ben should go up there and fight Chris Eubank again. Anyway, he had a good showing. He went all the way up to 160. But what's the point?
right. And plus, they'll never be able to duplicate that again. You know what I mean? From the build up, the drama before it, drama fight night, and then the fight itself, the walkouts, all that. That was like as perfect as it gets. That was really the kind of closure we get as fans. So
Just
I
leave it
don't
be.
really like. And plus, right, and plus fans anyway, they're like, we don't want this shit. We don't care about this. So like, really, Chris Eubank fighting Canelo not only makes the most sense for him personally, he can ride off in the sunset on that because there's not too much left of Chris Eubank. The only other
I
guy
mean,
he said he wants to fight is
I
Billy
like
Joe
that.
is
I like that fight for Chris Eubank because there's really not much there. I mean, he's not gonna win a world title. He's not gonna. I mean, he's not. He's. Just, I just don't feel like he's that competitive, right? I mean, I don't want to limit a guy, but I just don't feel like he's that competitive right now. He's been away for a long time. There's been a lot of up in the air. There's been a lot of politics of boxing. He hasn't been able to just kind of get into a rhythm of fighting, good camps. Um, so I would say because even that's going to get stalled out. Canelo's not going to go straight from Crawford to Eubank. That'll be like one of his last fights, fighting the UK, and Eubank's going to be on the sidelines for a while, but he gets to fight a slower, less hungry Canelo who really doesn't care. He's just trying to cash in.
yeah. You know who I would give Hamza Shiraz, and this is gonna sound crazy, but because Pacheco has been playing basically a game of chicken with those guys and he's been chilling in Canada, line up Hamza Shiraz. But then again, it depends on what his plans are. 'Cause I know Turkey wants this guy on the Canelo Crawford card. But I would either look at Hamza Shiraz versus Christian and Billy, or I would look at possibly the winner of Diego Pacheco versus Trevor Montgomery. I would line up one of those two. If you
I
want to
think
go for
I
yes,
don't know if they can get the Diego Pacheco Macumbi winner only because that shit I don't know if they'll be able to turn around
there,
because that
there
might be a
is a
banker.
there is a third option. If for some reason they go in the uh, direction of Caleb Plant and Resendiz Part Two.
Yeah,
Uh, Maybe we look at Charlo. Maybe.
I
I
like
mean,
Charlo.
yeah, like for
What make me
Charlo,
see play ball?
yeah, that's see, you and I were the same page. Would he play ball? I feel like if Turkey got involved, I feel like he would. But if it's not Turkey, if it's like Al Heyman taking over, then yeah, it's gonna be some BS. But yeah, man, I'm right there with you. Like it feels like he's got some options as Shiraz. I just feel like Canelo shouldn't be the next one. I know
No, no,
Turkey
no,
likes it, but he likes it for the wrong reason.
no, no.
Yeah, I agree
Canelo
with
should
that. Yeah,
definitely not. Canelo's gonna like that. That kid might be the next. You know, what I'm saying a future staple at 68. You don't, you don't run Canelo through him. Don't. He doesn't need that right now. Not fresh into
right,
68. Nah. Uh, I
right.
like. I mean, it depends on how the Diego Pacheco Trevor McCumbee fight goes. If somebody like, because I could very well see this happening. Whether the way I kind of see that fight is either it's going to be a banger or somebody's going to get knocked out. If it comes to somebody getting knocked out, then the other person's going to be pretty healthy. Which I can see Pacheco. I'm not. I don't know. McCumbee has power and he's a scrapper. Uh,
He's a tough
but
guy, man. He's definitely
but he also
gatekeeper.
does reckless ass shit because Plant put his ass out.
And you know what?
So
It's so funny that I use that word. You know who I would line up with Berlanga?
yeah,
I would line Berlanga. Well, it depends. Do you want to go in the direction of build up, or do you want to go in the direction of let's give you one more chance to fight somebody relevant? And if you lose here, then you're pretty much going to be fighting guys in bars, or maybe you get like a fight in Puerto Rico against a guy nobody knows. So do you want to give Berlanga one more like elite fight, or do you want to build?
I would say it depends on what the option is with the elite fight. I know what his team is going to do. If he stays with the same team, which I could very well see him staying with the same team if they're very locked in. This is family, Boricua, you know what I mean? They're very, you know what I mean? I think there's some things going on outside of the ring, which I think kind of lends to the distractions. My family's from New York. I'm very hip to New York politics and what's going on. So like, I think there's some things going on outside of the ring, and because he's talking about acting and all of this other stuff. I mean, the kid just wants to make money and be a star. I don't know if being a boxing great is really what's on his mind as much as being popular is what's on his mind and using boxing to become popular. So with that his mentality being that, and I feel like his team is backing that mentality. Um, I could very well see like if they could make the Caleb Plant fight, you know what I'm saying, something high profile like that. Caleb Plant's coming off a loss. So he's not gonna have many options of where to go. And they can build that fight. They've had beef. Um, they'll definitely both sell the fight, and then it's not going to be a main event, but it could be definitely an undercard fight, a good supporting uh
Yeah,
fight for a card that is legitimate, has some stuff going on. I could definitely see them getting on somebody's card because that you're going to look for something to bring the people. You know how promoters think. We're looking for something to bring the people in a little bit earlier. You know, make sure the pay-per-view buys are already bought. So if I'm able to put this as a co-main or a solid undercard, that's really interesting. Promoters love that.
yeah, he would fit in either on Riyadh season card or like a PBC card with Berlanga, especially a PBC card. I feel like he fit in there good.
And he's a free agent right now, so he could pretty much go anywhere, do anything.
That's true.
So
That's true. See, I
I
believe
could
in both.
he's got decent options. Now here we play a game on the ring. We play a game. If you're new here, I'm gonna break it down for you. The show runs on your reactions in a game we call Cap or Dap. Every hot take, every moment, you decide. If it's trash, you throw a cap emoji. If you rock with it, you throw that handshake emoji. And don't forget, if you want to jump on the live, hit the link to join the punchline when it opens up. Uh, so we'll get your opinion real quick. Cap
We do.
or Dap, you know how we do it around here. And so Edgar Berlanga's career, is it over? It's over. Like cap or dap? What do you think?
I'm gonna say Cap because while his career is not over, he's gonna continue to fight. He's gonna be around a little bit longer before I think, like you said, he's gonna maybe make the transition to being more of a star in about like a good 5, 10 years. But I think his Cap, his days as like somebody to see as maybe like a contender or maybe fight for contendership, those are done. But in terms of him just fighting and just being in the ring in general, no, I don't buy that.
Yeah, I'm gonna also go cap. I think that hopefully I'm really hoping that they bring somebody new into the camp, bring in at least, you know what I'm saying? I know that they're not gonna just do a complete overhaul, but I hope that they bring in some fresh eyes and some a fresh mouthpiece. Um a boxing great, maybe hopefully somebody with some respect, some that can kind of come in and kind of rein it in and be like, okay, look, let's be realistic. These are the things you need to work on. These are the things. This is where your skill set really is at, and this is what we can work with. And let's, you're a puncher, you're a big guy, cool. But at the elite level, it's not just going to be enough. You're not, what I'm saying. You can get the bums out of here. That's cool. But at the elite level, we got to figure out a way to make you relevant and get you some wins. So hopefully they bring somebody else in. If they don't, I think that he's built enough of a name that, um, and like I said, I think this is the direction that it's trending in. Is they built him enough of a name that he can go ahead and cash out at least on one big fight. One last, what I'm saying, one last hurrah. Somebody give him one last chance, and then he'll probably get another kind of. I can see like at the worst 2 or 3 fights left. I know he got at least 2 fights left in him. He'll get one chance. After that chance, he'll get picked up by somebody small. You know what I mean? A pro box, BLK Prime. You know what I'm saying? And they'll go for the money there. He'll be a main event. He'll knock some mid level guy out, and then possibly a third fight, a young contender that's looking for a name. He might be able to come off the bench and get that fight. But outside of that, outside of a miracle or building, like they really are gonna have to go back to the drawing board and really build with this guy. I just don't see him. I don't think he's gonna be the elite level uh contender that we thought.
Yeah, I agree. I
I
agree.
never really thought that he would be elite level contender. I felt like he would be like a player, a factor in the game though. I felt like he would be a player, like a guy that's got this knockout power, got enough skill, and then with Canelo and the division kind of turning over and some older guys leaving, he would be that middle of the pack guy that, maybe he will, maybe he won't. But this performance right here, because all he had to do was really, even in the loss, if he would have just had a good fight,
Right.
just a good solid scrap, what could we say? You went 12 with Canelo, you're a solid fighter, but going out this way
Not good.
is
Not good.
it's all bad. But let's move on. Let's get to Shakur Stevenson defeats William Zepeda.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, this is what we like to call another star making performance. This was one that a lot of people wanted to see Shakur Stevenson and Williams Zepeda. And it was literally a clash of styles, and it worked out perfectly. And not just that, Shakur Stevenson won over a lot of respect from people. Now, I didn't expect him to stand and trade in the pocket with Zepeda in some of the places that he did. I expect boxing from him. I expect that to see that and for him to survive that, I give him respect. Did he get leaned a few times? Yes, he did. Way too much for my liking. Because at one point I was like, "Oh, this man getting hit. Please don't do that." Because we know how Shakur can box when he wants to get that control. We know what he can do. So I was hoping he wasn't getting lured in because that's where Zepeda, had his best chance. And for Zepeda, I like that he fought his fight, but that's what happens, unfortunately, when you are in there with somebody that knows how to shut you down. We saw Tevin Farmer try twice, but he just didn't have enough. Shakur had more in the back pocket. He had more tools in the arsenal. He had more. He had more creativity because he brawled when he exchanged when he wanted to, but he wasn't crazy about it. He didn't go all out with it, which was like the big relief I think for people that back Stevenson because even though in some of those exchanges it did get a little crazy. He landed some good stuff on Cepeda, like a couple of good punches. I'm like, okay, he's got something. And of course, you and I talked about his hand, right? That was the other thing I
Yeah.
thought about. I'm like, this is crazy. We've never seen him throw down like this, and yet his hands have been a problem. So I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, this is fine and all, but please don't break that fucking hand again. Because if he does, who knows what the future holds? So for me, this was a true star making performance for Stevenson to basically go through all of that and come out on the dominating side. For Cepeda, it wasn't that he fought bad, it's just that he fights the way he always fights, and he got shut down by a guy with a way better style who was level above it. So I don't even, 'cause that's the thing. I knew Shakur was going to frustrate him to where Zepeda was going to be hitting air. He was going to just throw volume and not land a lot because it's so crazy how Zepeda had his high volume, but Shakur just landed way more. It really shows levels to me. So with that win, there's only one fight for Shakur, but unfortunately, due to some recent stuff, I don't know what the hell's going to happen with that. And all of a sudden, he's on Ariel Hawani's show going back and forth with Connor Ben out of nowhere, which is incredibly
Well,
random. That
this is
tells
the thing.
that
That's
tells
not
me
a
two
out
things.
of nowhere. That's not a out of nowhere. They're both with Matchroom. That's a Eddie
Yeah,
Hearn.
that's true.
That's an Eddie Hearn brew.
That is very true, bro. And you know what? It tells me two things. One, there's fuel to the fire with the Chris Eubank pullout rumors, and two, there's a chance that Secure Stevenson may not he realizes he's not going to get the Tank fight. And speaking of Tank's fight, I don't even know what's up with that whole situation anyway. But because of that, like you said, they're both in Matchroom. They're both kind of in a situation where they need a big fight, and they just pretty much started it right then and there. So I think we know what Shakur's next move is possibly going to be, or at least his plan B. His plan B.
Yeah, I
But
think they
that
were just trying to cement a plan B more than anything. Like just trying to, okay, well, if I can't, if you know what I'm saying, Murata probably is gonna duck him. He doesn't want that smoke right now in the unification, and he's too young. You know what I'm saying? That needs some time to mature. Um, Same way with Sam Noakes, the winner of Sam Noakes and Abdullah Mason. You know what I'm saying? No matter who the winner is, they're gonna need some time to mature. They're not ready for a. Even though I think Abdullah would take the fight right now, it doesn't make sense. Let it marinate. Let them build a little bit. Let them get a couple title defenses. Let them, you know what I mean? Um, so neither one of those unifications make sense. Obviously, the Tank unification makes sense, but you know that's not going to happen right now. He's got Roach to deal with, and then he's got legal issues, and we don't even know if we're going to get the Roach rematch. I think the fight that makes the most sense for Shakur right now is Roach because that puts pressure on the Tank fight. Let me fight a guy that you drawed and let me outdo you. Let me beat him and beat him
right.
convincingly.
Mm,
Now he gets to run around and say, Tank, I'm levels above you. Stop playing. You know, you keep saying,
right.
what have I done? Well, what I did
Right.
was I beat a guy that you fought and drawed with. So I think if in a
And
perfect
that
world,
and that makes
that would be great.
way more sense to absolutely. That makes way more sense than Ben. So you're right on the money.
And the thing is,
Absolutely.
Shakur
Yeah.
actually teased it a little bit on his Instagram, I believe it was on Instagram. He was like, or it may have been on X. But he was like, you know, he there was a picture of him and Roach, and he was like, you know, one day we're gonna share the ring. You know what I'm saying? Two very skilled guys or something like that to that effect. And one day we're gonna share the ring. So it's definitely on his mind. Definitely on his team's mind. As far as the fight goes and the win goes, it's what I expected. This is what I expected. It was a masterclass. What I did not expect was for him to be so versatile on the inside with the Philly shell. Um,
Right.
I'll be honest, as a fighter, and it's just so crazy because I just was trying to. Shakur had me trying a few things to sparring yesterday. Like, let me just see if I could. Even, I've never even. I like because I literally. I'm like,
It's
I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I'm like, but let me just. Can I?
he's so
Could I do it? Could I have the timing? Could I try it? The answer is no. I don't have the timing. But
yeah.
you
It's
know what I'm
so
saying?
but like you said though, man, it's so crazy how he does it and he varies it up. You don't
Yeah.
see that often, dude. You don't see that
Well,
often.
the
You
thing
see some
is,
people.
we've only seen it one other time. Is the crazy part. Like, but people don't know
Right.
George Benton is the one that invented the shoulder roll, and he was
Fact.
very, very, very good at it. But he fought very square with it. Um,
Right.
when Floyd adapted the shell and made it his own and made it his own brand, the thing that
Mhm.
always amazed me was his ability to stay bladed on the inside and still stay rolled and use that hand to kind of guide and come back down. Now he's using the shoulder and he's dipping in and he's catching the timing. People just don't understand the timing and the vision and relaxation that it takes to just read and react. You kind of have to know what's coming too, but it's an ability. And if guys could, you know what I'm saying, if guys could do it, they would do it. And there's a reason why
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
only two guys that we've seen really fight like that in the pocket is because it's difficult. And I think it shows the maturity of of Stevenson because
Yeah,
a couple years ago, I don't think he could have fought like that in the pocket defensively.
I agree.
I think he would have
I
had to just dog it out, dog it out, dog it out. And I don't feel like his team was comfortable with him doing that. I think that Shakur's always had the dog in him. He's not worried about getting hit like people think or taking punishment or anything like that. It's a mentality of this is what I do. I want to make as much money as possible. And the way to make as much money as possible is have longevity. So he's been moved a certain way because he possesses a very special skill set that allows him to move like that. And he said it after the fight. I took the most punishment. I got hit the most I've ever been hit in any fight,
right.
but it was because I decided to get hit. You
Which
know,
was
and it's just
to me shocked me, man. That shocked me the most because of everything we talked about in the build up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That was the last thing I expected him to do. But the fact that he did it and he looked good while doing it and survived it, I give him respect. He did get hit, but again, that's what's gonna happen when you take a chance.
And yeah, you the thing you ain't gonna swim without getting wet. But
Exactly. I mean,
one
and
of the things that
Floyd,
I wish that he would have done a little bit more of is
mm,
use his jab, disrupt Zepeda's timing, and
I,
um, a few times just switched it up. I think he got once he made up in his mind that he was comfortable in that pocket. You know, that's where you kind of had him standing on the ropes a little bit. I think when they went to the corner and got in his ear and were like, "Hey, that's not a good look," you know, those could turn into some swing rounds, and that's an unnecessary risk. Even though we know you're not getting hit, you know the optics, and it's so crazy when he goes to the middle of the ring and he's doing the exact same thing that he was doing sitting on the ropes. It just looks better because he's in the middle of the ring and it doesn't look like Zepeda's pressing him to the ropes and he's in danger because we've been conditioned to think that as soon as you're on the ropes, you're in danger. You're in danger. He's on the ropes. He can't run anywhere. He was
right.
setting his feet, fighting in the pocket anyway. He wasn't running anywhere. That's why another Floyd reference. Floyd used to do that all the time. He'd be on the ropes, and people were like, well, "Why is he on the ropes? Why is he just chilling on the ropes?" Well, I wasn't planning on going anywhere anyway, so I don't care about being on the ropes. So I wasn't gonna take a step back. I don't really care. Like this is where I'm at. I'll just sit here and chill. But for him to
Well,
have the maturity and the understanding of, hey, that doesn't look good to the judges, and him to walk Zepeda back to the center of the ring and still stay in the pocket, still defend himself. And then the sharp counters, the counters were great. Also, he's a fighter that fights off of the patterns of the fighter in front of him. And one of the patterns I've seen that he picked up on in the early rounds were the Peta would throw 8, 12 punches. After you throw that many punches, you're going to take a step back and need to catch your breath. And when he would
right.
take that step back and just kind of go to catch his breath a little bit and to dive back in, something that Shakur did very well was he didn't let him just he didn't take a breath too with him. You know what I'm saying? When you're defending like that and you let somebody throw that many punches, a lot of guys will, okay, he's gonna step back and reset. Good, I'll kind of need this reset myself. No, he would jump right on him and he would
Right.
throw a 4 piece. And that's where he was catching him really clean was in those moments where Zepeda was stepping back kind of gassed a little bit, you know what I'm saying, having to catch his breath for that little brief moment. And that little brief moment, Shakur would jump on him. And just all of those things are showing that the evolution. I really do think and believe he's the best 135 pounder. And, you know, it's hopefully we get the fight Pretty much for me, Shakur and Tank is like, you know, the Mayweather Pacquiao of this generation.
I
We're
agree.
just sitting here over marinating this fight. Like, when are they? They have to fight each other. Like, they have to fight each other. When are they gonna fight?
They're running out of people. They're both running out of people.
They're both running. They don't have anyone to fight. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Exactly.
I think another thing I wanted to ask you, the Floyd Schofield Jr. You think
Right.
going back and revisiting that fight would be, you know what I'm saying? Because he just knocked out Tevin Farmer. Shakur just had a great showing against Zepeda, a masterclass. Do you think that there's still options there?
Yes. And not only do I think there's options, I think it might be next for sure. I think that might be the fight because after what he just did to Tim Farmer and after the call out, he said, "Listen, Shakur or Tank, if they don't fight each other, I'll fight one of them." At this point, we don't know what Tank's future holds. We're gonna find out hopefully when things are resolved. It may take a while. Shakur cannot afford to wait because at this point, the only person that's probably going to be ready for him that would be a fight that makes sense is, I would say, Kid Austin. And plus, they still have that history from Saudi Arabia, so they got to run that back. Kid
Exactly.
Austin, right? Because there was a lot in the build up, a lot of talk between those two, and to me, the fact that Kid Austin was able to redeem himself from unfortunately not being able to perform in Saudi Arabia, I say now is the time, and honestly, that's good enough to be a main event on its own card because they're going to talk a lot of trash too. So
Oh yeah,
Shakur is
it's
definitely
gonna be a
one.
great storyline, great
You don't have
build
to wait
up,
for him.
and I think Turkey wants to see that fight.
Oh, okay, I think you. Oh,
Yeah,
of course,
I hear.
absolutely. Because like the thing is, okay, cool. Yeah, like the fight sells itself. You know what I mean? They talk a lot of trash, social media. They had the history from Saudi, and plus, like you said, I think Turkey wanted that one too. And credit to Josh Padley for stepping up, short notice and giving us at least something interesting with Shakur before the inevitable happened. But even Turkey is like, yeah, I want that one back. I wanted that one. So I
Now,
think there's even
my
more hype
question
on.
is, does Floyd Schofield Jr.'s camp really want that fight? I don't think that Floyd Schofield Jr. is necessarily scared to fight Shakur, because this is the thing though. They know each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Floyd Schofield Jr. is like the generation under Shakur. So, and he was a high level amateur, you know what I'm saying? He was around, he was in the camp. So they've been in the gym together. They've seen it, like, and that was kind of, if you watched in the last build up to the last fight, that's what Shakur kept like, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was kind of talking to him, like, you know what I'm saying? That, and that's the same thing with the Tevin Farmer fight, if you notice. Like,
That's true.
Schofield Jr. has been around, and so this older generation of fighters knows him as a little kid coming up, and now you want to fight me. I think that may have been what kind of rocked Tevin to sleep, for real, for real. Was he didn't think that he would come out that ferocious. He thought he,
Right.
in the first round, he kind of thought he would probably tiptoe a little bit, and that he would have time to, kind of figure him out and get adjusted. And Tevin's a slow starter anyway. And it
You
didn't
know
work
what makes
out. They'll be
you
they
know what
like
makes
they said, they'll be right back playing Call of Duty next week. They would probably play Call of Duty all this week.
so I mean something interesting did happen out of the fight. You know how Floyd Schofield Sr. is. He loves to talk. So
Of course.
immediately he went to, I think, IFL TV or something. He immediately started running down Shakur. Like, not only was he celebrating his win, he was talking extremely bold. And Shakur's name not only fell out of the mouth, he was saying it with conviction. And all I'll say is this: before, you can kind of tell they were playing games a little bit. Will he, won't he show up? And of course, Shakur was like, "You got to show up" and all that. They were playing games before, and Schofield Senior, he waited until the pullout to start all his talking to Saudi. Now he's talking reckless. Now he's talking reckless right after the win. I think he suddenly felt like right after the seventh win, not just the fact that they won, but the fact that he knocked them out in the first round. I think he now realizes, okay, I think my son may have a shot at having a
I
good
don't
fight.
use
I
it.
don't
I
think
don't
he does.
really
He's,
use
he's
it.
not going to. He's going to win. But all of a sudden, his father saw that and he started talking about Shakur in a way that I never heard before. I said, "Oh boy, you think you want that, huh?"
And
So
that's the
yeah,
crazy part, is that was before Shakur's performance.
Right. Way
I mean,
before
I've been all over X. I've been all over Instagram, bro. I stay on it. I stay on it. You know what I mean? Like I haven't. He said something about what Shakur said, but he hasn't been talking as strong. Like, cause I mean, you would think that if there was any flaws in Shakur's performance, um,
he
they
would
would have jumped
run.
on it. And I mean,
Yeah,
what
he
can
would.
you say? The one jab along the ropes, you know what I'm saying, where
Mhm.
he lost his balance, and for the Shakur haters, they're taking that on X and they're running with it. Oh, he almost got dropped. He almost got
Yeah.
knocked out. Even his 2-year-old daughter, even seen it. Like, bro, that was a balanced shot. Like he was throwing a shot,
And
got caught off
Shakur,
balance. He smiled right afterwards. He wasn't even hurt. He was like, you got me, Zapata. Zapata smiled like, I got you. You know what I mean? Because it was literally like it was a jab, like a little flick jab that
yeah,
Zapata threw. Zapata was surprised, like, oh shoot, I got him. Like, what I'm saying? Like like when you're in the ring, like you know what I mean?
right.
Like I caught a guy a couple weeks ago, and it was literally as he was going to make a move, I caught him with a check hook and he stumbled off balance. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of bounced back and was just kind of laughing, like, "You good?" You know what I'm saying? And he's laughing at himself, like, because we know what it looks like outside the ring. It looked like I popped him with a hook and he went flying, like, "Ooh, what you hit him with?" But it's like, in all reality, it was because he was only on one foot when I hit him because he was going to step, and I caught him at the right moment. Like it was great timing, and it made him stumble. Same thing there. Like it was good timing on the jab. And the thing is, the Zapata up close like that doesn't throw very many jabs. And that's what I was pointing out. I was watching it with my guy, and I saw I pointing out. I'm like, though, when a guy doesn't throw his jab that much, those jabs catch you off guard because you're watching the shoulders, looking for the hooks and looking for the uppercuts, and then out of nowhere, they'll just throw this little jab, and you're like, oh shoot, you do jab.
Yeah,
Let me
because like
bring that back in again.
right, because like watching him throw the volume that he had against Shakur, you would think this man would have some in there, but it didn't look like it. He does, but like it don't look like it. It looks like he's trying to take his head off the whole time, which
Yeah.
is crazy. Yeah, that's pretty much
You
what it
think you
is.
could
And
measure a little bit, and then, but he doesn't. He's just I mean, he's a pretty atypical.
right,
He's more than an atypical Mexican fighter, but at first the Mexican style, like he is the model. Like, when the kids come in the gym, they put on a tape of Zapata, they put on a tape of Pitbull, Cruz,
mm,
and they go, "This is what we want you to look like. In 10 years, you better be doing this." You know what I'm saying? And then
right,
they go, "Okay."
yeah,
Okay, and they get to work and start teaching them the stuff. But I mean, those are your atypical in the pocket, high guard, pressure, body shots, always moving your fist or your feet. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That just constantly walking a guy down, constantly pressuring him. That's that type of fighter, and that's what you
true.
expect. Uh, what do you think is next for William Zapata?
You know what? He earned himself a nice homecoming in Mexico. I think against. It's weird. I have to like look at his weight class a little bit, but like I feel like a nice homecoming in Mexico is something he earned there with that. Either that or a coming like a comeback on maybe on like another Golden Boy card. Maybe he can headline another Golden Boy card in Mexico, somewhere on the West Coast. Against somebody that ideally is a fighter that he can come back from because, like you said, he is as entertaining as it comes. He's the typical Mexican fighter, just with a better gas tank. The only thing is he got shut down by a guy who's just skilled and talented. So I think for Zapata, a comeback in Mexico to headline Golden Boy would be great. I gotta look at his division to see line him up with maybe like a fun fighter, like another Mexican fighter, 35 that will give him a fun fight, but he could obviously beat him.
I think
Completely agree.
uh I think that's the formula right there, and I think I have the fighter in mind. I just said, Pitbull Cruz fights at 35 and 40. One and we haven't really heard too much about him lately. He's kind of got bumped out of the picture. I don't think that he was really built for 140. I think he can fight at 140, but he's such a shorter, smaller guy that I don't think 140
Yeah.
really. I think you know he maxed out at 140. You know what I'm saying? Like that. He can go up there and beat certain guys, certain matchups, but I don't think he was going to be able to reign at 140 as a champion or anything like that. So 135 is more his division. I think he goes back down to 135. You set that up, Golden Boy promotion. You get Pitbull in there, and you set that up as just a I don't know what because you matter of fact, uh, maybe later this fall, like later this
Mm,
fall, possibly. I would have to look at the schedule to see if they could fit in between the cards and what's going on, but I think that
right.
that would go off well in Mexico. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of
You
Mexico,
promote the shit out of it. Two warriors going, and guys will tune in because they're gonna know Pitbull, Cruz, and Zepeda. Shit,
right?
there may be over 2,000 punches thrown in that fight. Like that's gonna be a crazy, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a crazy scrap. Neither one of them are gonna go anywhere. Neither one of them are gonna dance. They're gonna literally meet in the middle and throw punches. So it's gonna be, you know
Honestly,
what I'm saying? It's gonna be Mexican Rock'em Sock'em Robot at its best. It,
love
I, I want to watch it. You know what I'm saying?
it.
I'm tuning in. So
Honestly,
yeah,
I like
I
that.
think. I mean, either way though, he's gonna get a fight. He's gonna get a fight.
I agree,
All right, on to Subriel Matias defeats Alberto Puello. What do you think?
man. This was crazy. This was a fight that I ended up watching back at least 4 times, and what's
Oh, you've
crazy
already watched
about
it back?
oh yeah, multiple times. I've because it was one of those where like I like the more because I asked a lot of people like what their scores whatnot, and I got the whole variety of opinions. I'd say between the end of fight night and I'd say about Monday. So I've seen it back 4 times myself, and all I have to say is that definitely was while that was an amazing performance from both men, and while that was a great fight from both men, the judges didn't do it justice. I felt like they disrespected Puello with that draw verdict because it definitely was not that. I believe he deserved a split at best, a split really either way. I could see Puello's argument though. I the thing that killed me when I watched it back, I wasn't quite sure what the judges were seeing when they were, well, not him, but the unofficial scorecard. I think it was manager or something. I'm not sure what he was seeing when he was giving, like, even though he was scoring for Puello, and I understand that, which is honestly I could see it, but I felt like the scores were a little bit off, the gap was a little bit off, and then when the judges' scores were read, 95-95, I didn't like. The other two they gave to Matias, I didn't like that either. If they would have gone, honestly, a split draw, I felt like would have been a fair verdict at best. At
Mm,
best. If not, maybe a split. I can see the Puello because one thing about Matias, while he was moving forward, there were instances where he was being outboxed and managed on the back foot, especially in the early rounds. And even though he made it very interesting as it went down, one thing I noticed is that the while he still had the heart to move forward, he was being managed on the back foot with clinching and stuff when the crowd booed. Because at first I'm like, why the fuck is the crowd booing? And then when I watched the replay, I'm like, ooh, that's why. Playo started being smart, and they didn't like that. They liked the battle, you know. So they liked the fact that Playo was throwing up the back foot. As soon as he held, they booed. And I'm like, you know what? Just from that point of view, I gave him a little more respect there because I actually it's weird. I stopped scoring it like when I just called it live after about like 9 rounds when I saw the unofficial and the live line. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Something weird's happening. And of course it was with the draw with the scorecards, but a split decision at best, I think, is the right verdict. And honestly, I see more arguments for Puello than Matias after watching it back multiple times. Live, I would have had Matias because of his aggression, but when I looked at it back, he actually got managed down the stretch. That was part of the reason that they were booing because all of a sudden it is like he had the heart to move forward, but he was not as successful as he was with his ferociousness before. And I have to give Puello credit too. First man to survive Matias. Matias, and funny enough, I did say in our preview, this would be the first fight that Matias would win by decision, without a finish. But I have to be honest, when I watched it back, I actually scored it for Puello, and I kind of feel like he deserved a split. 95-95 is just fucking atrocious. That was bad. I don't know what a judge could see there with that. Maybe they were kind of indifferent after a bit too, and they were like, you know what, fuck it, draw. I would love to see it again. Maybe that, but yeah, that it
yeah.
just felt like it felt like the score didn't do it justice. What did you think though?
Definitely scored it for Puello. Definitely had
Yeah.
Puello winning. It was a tight fight though, and so I
Yep.
went on the Boxing Voice, and like right after the fight, I called in, and I was just upset. Like, man, how did they just, you know what I mean? And they were like, "Well, were you saying it's a robbery?" I said, "No, I'm not saying it's a robbery. I'm saying I scored it for Puello. I have to go back and rewatch it. You know, I may come up with a different opinion. It was a very close fight. I will never call a close fight a robbery. A robbery is when someone clearly won and the judges clearly took it from him. That's a
Right.
robbery. This was a
Right.
this was a close fight. I think I had Puello winning by 2 rounds, maybe 2 or 3 rounds. I have to go back and check exactly what my scorecard was. It was that back stretch. It was like rounds 8, 9, and 10 that I
Yeah.
felt like Matias' gas tank started kind of dwindling a little bit, and he's not creative. You know, he's not very
Right.
creative. He comes in and he kind of does the exact same things. His head's kind of on the same line, and I felt like Quayle was able to catch him, fight him off a few times when he was walking him back. I think that was very successful, walking him back off the ropes, walking him back to the center ring, then fighting
Yeah.
him again off center ring. I think that he just didn't get enough credit for his boxing and for standing there and fighting at times and doing what he needed to do. I feel like he was landing the more effective shots in some of the rounds. Some of those counters were super effective. I just felt like Matias really, had that been anyone else and not Matias with the chin that he has, I think Puello would have hurt them clearly or definitely scored the knockout. And I think that that was Matias' best skill in that fight was because he got caught. He got caught with some shit a couple times. Some of those counters were hard, and I think his best skill was that he had a chin. He had a chin
Right.
and he had willpower, and he kept coming forward and he kept fighting. So um, I didn't like that decision, and what I definitely didn't like was Turkey. I didn't
Yeah.
like I didn't like that you come in the ring and you go, okay, you're gonna fight him next. You know, this is my guy. You're gonna fight him next. Well, it's a thing, Turkey, with this
Well, it's
predetermined stuff that you got going on.
yeah.
Is bro, Quayle deserved a rematch. That close of a fight, that
Right.
deserved an immediate rematch. And with it
Yes.
being a championship fight, I don't understand how and that like an immediate rematch wasn't like because there's not like two scrubs. These are two
Right.
names. uh, I don't understand how an immediate rematch clause wasn't put into the contract for Puello,
I,
but apparently it wasn't. But I mean, he told Puello that he could get the winner, he could get his rematch, but that he's going to let his guy fight first. So now I don't know. I'm going to get the rematch, but I don't know if I'm going to be fighting Matias or who was that he brought in the ring again? My memory's escaping me right now.
Smith, who is I believe he's a European champion at the weight class. He's one of the guys from Matchroom that Eddie Hearn promotes. That's from England.
Okay,
They had, yeah, they, from what I understand, this guy's a mandatory, or he might be. I know he's a British champ, but I'm not sure if he's like the mandatory or not. But I know he's one of the guys that Eddie pushes. And when I saw it's funny. When I saw him in the crowd, I'm like, that's a random sighting with Dalton Smith. And then sure enough, Turkey is like guiding him in the ring. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? So yeah, that very it makes sense, but it was incredibly random. Even Eddie Hearn kind of made a comment like, I didn't know they were going to stare down at that. So yeah, very weird.
yeah. I mean, it's turkey up to turkey stuff, but you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, he he he's so great for the sport right now and really rebuilding it to back to where it's at that some people get just distraught over some of these decisions, but it's like uh, look, I can
My
live with it.
my guess is Dalton Smith and Sabriel Matias, they will either headline a matchroom card, or I believe since Turkey pretty much brought him in the ring stare down, they'll probably end up on one of the ring series cards, probably ring 4. If I had to guess, ring 4.
You think they can make Ring Four? Ring Four is what going to be November?
Oh shoot, I didn't even wait. Let's see. Oh yeah, that might be a little too soon. You know what? I think they're probably going to schedule a special matchroom card, maybe in December, maybe December,
Yeah,
like
or
like
and
late
you
jump.
never know. Turkey can get a big headliner. You know what I'm saying? I think, and I like the way that he does that. Is he has these kind of fights, kind of already, kind of all over the place, and then he gets a big headline or a fight that he's been wanting, something that he wants to be, main event, and then he just grabs all these fights that he's been wanting to and throws them on the undercard. I mean, Ring 4 is really shaping up to be about, it might even be more epic than Ring 3 for real. And that was a good card. That was a solid card, like from top to bottom, a solid card. Ring 4 seems like he's going to be even more epic and from top to bottom, a solid card, and it's because he keeps all these matchups just kind of there, and then when he gets the one that he really wants to promote, he throws them all together, and you know what I'm saying, it makes for good gumbo.
I
Let's get
agree.
to
Agreed. But
David Morrell defeats Imam Kataev.
man, I tell you what, mixed emotions about this. Number one, despite the failed drug test, in a way, is weird. In a way, justice prevailed because you don't like to see somebody who's a known cheat to succeed, especially when it's known during fight week, and then they are allowed to fight during because of just weird parameters with the commissions and countries. But it was nice to see that. However, if I'm going to be honest, that was a performance from David Morrell that I did not expect to see. He was getting is weird because with Katiev, with what he was on and how he looked, I had a feeling this guy would maybe have like 8 rounds of cardio and he would have a chance. Like I'm thinking about maybe like Makudov fight where Makudov, yes, just overdone, happy all the time kind of thing. But in this case, this Katiev guy, crazy pace as we saw, crazy pace. He put it on David, and David seemed to not know how to manage it. And it seemed like his corner didn't exactly have a backup plan either. Again with corners, because with David, when he tried to match this guy, it did not work. Katiev was out throwing him, out landing him, and he was basically getting the better of him in the exchanges. When he knocked him down with that overhand right, I thought for sure David Morrell would lose. When as soon as it landed, and as soon as David hit the ground, and I was like stunned, I thought for sure he was going to lose. The fact that he got up and he basically survived to the end was shocking enough. But the fact that they gave it to him on the cards, I felt is completely wrong. Now, it's great to not see somebody who cheated lose, but at the same time, Katiev was robbed, and I was wrong too because I thought Morrell was going to use this as a build-up fight, but as it turned out, that 10-0 with 9 knockout Russian, now 11-0 with 9 knockouts. Holy shit! I from the highlights I saw, obviously a good fighter, but good puncher and everything, but I did not expect that. I didn't expect that. I figured Morrell would handle himself better, but man, he just got ran through, bro. He just got ran over. Really, got ran over.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it comes back to mentality. Like, look at David Morrell going up against David Benavidez. You know he's in for a dog fight. You know he's in there with one of the best in the game. Period. Forget his division. Just one of the best fighters. You know what I'm saying, it's top 10 fighter. Period. You know what I'm saying, in boxing right now, and he fought like it. Now you got this little Russian, but you know what I'm saying. He thinking that he was going to style and profile because honestly, when he went down,
Mm-hmm.
it was literally from he was just kind of dancing away into the round, and then dude just kind of sprung and caught him. It caught him off guard. It hurt him because the guy's a power puncher. It hurt him, but I mean, you let a clean punch go simply because your hands weren't up because you were just kind of dancing away, not taking him all that serious. Because honestly, I felt like Morrell went in there in the first couple rounds and seen what the guy had to offer, and he was like, "Okay, you punch hard. I punch hard
Right.
too." And but outside of that, he didn't feel like he was offering him too much. He felt like, okay, I'm gonna just turn it on. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you keep punching. We're gonna dance around for some rounds. And I felt like in Morrell's mind, he thought I'm gonna just turn it on late, and
Yeah.
and I'm gonna secure the win, and then I'm gonna get out of here.
It
And
seems like
it
feel
didn't go like
around.
that. Now with the knockdown, I scored it. I scored it live. I scored it a draw with the knockdown.
Even
Uh,
with it, oh wow.
yeah, with the knockdown, I scored a draw.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, I think David fought well. I don't think that dude really ran through him all like that. Like he fought well at times. It just was like an inconsistent performance. Like you seen the flashes of okay, this is all he
Yeah.
needs to do. and he can get this guy out of here. And then he goes back to not being focused, and he's talking to people outside the ring, and it
It's
just I
funny.
just he didn't take that guy serious enough. He didn't take the fight serious enough, and I think he knew it. If you watch his kind of his body language after the fight, I think he was shocked that he didn't get a draw or a loss. Honestly, I don't think that he felt like he just won the fight. Um,
Right.
because he knows it was way, way, way too close. And like I said, I'm not mad at the win at all. Like if the dude would have won, I wouldn't have been mad. With David winning, I'm not mad just simply because I think that on completely focusing on his best day, is he better than this guy? Yes, I do believe that. So okay, the politics of boxing won over today, and we're going to get him on to bigger, better fights. Hopefully, he stays focused. What I think that he should do, and I think a lot of fighters at this level should do, is kind of have the Floyd mentality of if there's a close fight, if there's a fight that the public is saying that I didn't win, I need to go back and rematch you, and I need to max you out, and then you know, and basically show I was maybe I was a little off that night. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I wasn't on my A game, but this guy's not better than me. So
Right.
I would say to the Morrell camp, rematching. Get the rematch. You know what I'm saying? And go in there and do what you're supposed to do and get that stain off of you. Because I mean, will the boxing public forget? Yeah, they will. Because at the end of the day, he fought David
It's
Benavidez.
also a big reason why that actually the rematch makes sense. Conti had failed a drug test during fight week, and shouldn't have even been allowed to fight. So that is
Well,
also a great.
I did investigation into that, right?
Okay.
So he actually failed the drug test in 2024,
Oh
and it
shit.
was not a drug test for because he fights in the IBA. It was not a drug test for a fight camp. It was a random. They popped up on him on some random shit. He failed. Well, we
I
know a lot of our fighters cycle. It's not correct. No, it's not. But when you need to piss and when your blood is being taken, you do need to pass going into these fights, into these contests. Now,
right.
what guys are doing in their off time, guys should still be staying clean. And I think that I think that all active fighters should be signed to 365, that they can pull up on you whenever. You know what I'm
Agree.
saying? I think that'll keep a lot of guys a little bit more honest. But at the end of the day, the way that the system is now, that's not the system across the board. I think the IBA has something like that going. And so they pulled up on him. He pissed dirty in 2024. They never sanctioned him. He fought in the IBA since then. They never sanctioned him, never was anything said about it. Now, now you're fighting outside of the IBA, you're fighting on a grand stage, it's 2025, and they decide, oh, we came down with the judgment for that sanction.
So they set that one up. The announcing
Yeah.
body.
So
Oh,
basically, they put them on the spot of, are you going to honor our suspension or not? And now think about just all the crazy politics of boxing. The IBA is trying to be recognized as basically another one of the sanctioning bodies. They're trying to get their belts validated. They're trying to be validated from top to bottom, and they're trying to come up with this kind of international one world order of boxing, basically from amateur all the way to the pro. And they're trying to get, so it's very political. So basically, you sat on this from 2024 and waited for this opportunity to make headlines, in my mind, honestly. And I think that Turkey and not even just Turkey, but just the other sanctioning bodies said, man, BS. You're not going to use us. We're not going to legitimize you, basically. They don't. I don't think they like the way that they did it, and they go, "We're not gonna. We're if we honor this, then that's legitimizing the IBA as a major sanctioning body. So we're not gonna honor it. And do we know if he's clean then now? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We I don't know what testing was done for this fight. I mean, Morrell's camp, when they were asked about it, they were like, well, is he gonna? You're gonna let your basically. They were like, you're gonna let your fighter fight a dirty fighter. and they were like, from all like, that happened in 2024, and from all that we know right now, he's clean. He's past everything that we know of right now. So I don't know. You know what I mean?
Hmm. You know what though?
Is
Just based
for
off
me
of that.
is we overlook the Canelos. You know what I'm saying? Canelo's popped before, so you know what I'm saying. I put him in that category. A guy that popped before. Alicia Bumgardner popped before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what I mean, you serve your sanction. It is what it is. It's part of the game. Make sure they're clean going into the fights, and let's keep it pushing.
I agree, man. And honestly, oh, it's gonna bark. But yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. And honestly, not only should they handle it that way, if it turns out that he is like actually not even just like clean, but if he is at least been clean for like maybe a year, so he hasn't had any sort of problems or anything like that, I say go ahead and run back the Morel fight. My thing is just make sure that he's clean, obviously. But if he's good there, I say run it back. Why not?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, anybody that pops like that should immediately be put on 365. You know what I mean? Okay,
Oh,
you pop. Okay, cool. Whatever sanction needs to come down, the sanction comes down from whatever sanctioning body um, is dealing with the test and everything like that. But if we're going forward, you're on 365. You know what I'm saying? We may call you tomorrow and get you up out the bed, and we want blood, hair, and pits. You know what I'm saying? And then we might a month from now we might call, might not. We might let you go for a year. You know what I'm saying? Just so that they always have that in the back of their mind of, hey, I gotta stay clean. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what exactly is gonna go down. Uh,
right.
Overall though, I think that Turkey he made up for the Times Square debacle. I think he
I,
made up for it handsomely.
I this was easily it's crazy. Even with the opener of Susumi having like three opponents and finally decimating the last guy, even with that, as kind of being one of the only other knockouts with Shiraz, everything else was close, everything else was competitive, and quite frankly, there were nothing but storylines all across the board for every fight that went down. For me, not only scorecard, it shows what happens when actual good matchups are made and not just big names that are being thrown together on a card and like basically being thrown at a wall and seeing what sticks. You know what I mean? This matchmaking actually has some care to it. It feels
Yeah, yeah. I
like it
think
was
that
definitely
I
done
think
properly.
I think he's just getting. I think he's getting better. He's putting the right people in place. He's getting better
Oh, repeat that again.
matchmaking. I think Turkey's just getting better.
Oh yeah,
With anything that you do, the more you do it. Oh, did we lose him? No, I think we lost him. But yeah, with anything that you do with time, uh, things get better, and I can definitely say that for Turkey, things definitely are getting better. He's getting better at what he's doing. Uh, that was the last fight that we were gonna go over. I don't know if he's gonna make it back in here, but if not, let me just go ahead and wrap things up real quick for you. You know what I'm saying? That's a wrap for the Ring Rant. Make sure you like, comment, follow, and most importantly, join us live and hit the link and punch in on the punchline. We want to hear your opinion, man. Now, cap or dap, you decide. You know what I'm saying? Edgar Berlanga's career. Is it over? Is the knockout too much? You know what I'm saying? If you agree his career is over, drop that dap emoji in the chat. Go ahead, drop that in the comments, man. We appreciate you. Uh, if you disagree and you believe it's cap and that he can come back from this knockout, drop that cap emoji in the comments, man. And just in case you guys forget how this works, there it goes. If if it's cap, drop that cap emoji. If it's dap, you drop that handshake emoji. All right. Uh, let's see here. Just to tell you one more time, Slimes and Fat and Fight fans, this is Dead Shot. I'm coming at you with that real energy August 2nd. I'm stepping back into the ring on the boxing voice, the purge, border wars, and trust me, you ain't gonna want to miss this smoke. This fight, this is my proving ground, my Rocky moment, and I'm bringing that hunger you can't fake, that pressure you can't dodge. I've been putting in work under the lights, through the pain, through the prayers, faith on full, gloves laced tight, ready to give you a performance you're gonna feel in your bones. So here's what I need you to do: lock in. Hit the Boxing Voice YouTube page on August 2nd to watch it live. Run up those views, flood the chat, and let them know Team Slime is in the building heavy. And don't forget to tap in with that at Team Slime YouTube channel for all the training updates, fight breakdowns, and inside looks as we get closer to war. Mark your calendar, set your reminders, and tell your homies Dead Shot is coming to collect. And when I say I'm ready to purge, I mean it. August 2nd, it's all or nothing. Don't miss it. One more time as well. That was the homie Jay Smooth that was joined us on the show. You don't forget to tune in for the live fight watch alongs with Jay at the Rush Hour Fight Club on Fight Night. The link is in the description. He is always calling the action, scoring every round, chopping it up with you in real time, man. It's a great community over there. It's a community I'm a part of, and you know how it goes. I always salute my communities that I'm a part of. Capper Dat, man, drop it in there. And until next time, wipe your nose, I'll wipe it for you. Stay slimy.